Hi, welcome to another edition of Chess Match. This is Cody Alexander with MatchQuarters.com. Today we're going to focus on how the Pittsburgh Steelers attacked the Arizona Cardinals on third down. Now, one thing that they use that I'm a big advocate for and that I really like, I think it's a front that if you have two really good edge rushers that you can use, or if you have one really good edge rusher that you can use to kind of manipulate the pass pro and get a one-on-one matchup. Now here is what you call an overload. So an overload means that I've got an overloaded side. So I actually have three guys on this side. I have one guy on this side. Now this is an empty. So in empty protection, you're going to probably get a slide this way. So you're going to see the offensive line slide this way. What that does is that leaves a one-on-one matchup. Now, if you are a team that doesn't have an elite tackle, now again, most tackles in the NFL, the elite ones are going to be on the left side, okay? Because most quarterbacks are right-handed, so that's the blind side of the quarterback. The right tackles anymore nowadays need to be almost as good as your left tackle in pass pro, just because as much passing as there's going on in this league. The other thing with this that you need to realize is that this is the number one D end according to PFF in the NFL. So what you've essentially done is you're putting the number one defensive end in the NFL against the teams that you're playing, their second best tackle. And so I think this is one kind of matchup that you see, and it shows up more and more as you watch this on third down. Now, 28 isn't necessarily what we would call mugged. Mug means that he would be on the line, but this guard has to honor this, okay? So what you're going to see here is as they slide this way, he's going to keep an eye on this. If he pops out, then he's going to keep working on with that slide. So let's watch it. So this is textbook of exactly what I said was going to happen. So you're going to get the slide. The guard looks, he sees him pop out. The moment he sees him pop out, he's going to put his hand out here for the nose guard, okay? And so what's going to happen is he's going to assume that he's going to hit here. Now, if this were to just play out like it is right here, and then an edge rush right here, what you've got is essentially an overfront, right? But because there's three big guys on one side, that's why you get the slide to this way. Notice how 71 is kick-stepping over here. Now you've got a one-on-one. So I put my best pass rusher against their second best tackle. So as you see this, number 98, you're going to get just kind of an up and under. You're going to get what I would call a knot stunt. So the nose is going to go under, the tackle is going to wrap around, and he's going to keep an eye on Murray. Now Murray's kind of a mobile quarterback, so you can see how 98's just trying to get into the vision point right here. The other thing with this is if you're going to play, and understanding Cliff Kingsbury from college level, is that he does like some underneath tunnel screens and things like that, or running some low cross routes to try and get this. What 98 is trying to do is just get in the vision point of Murray, reading his eyes. If he were to step this way, because this is where if you're going to get the slide and you're going to get what I call a fish hook, so he's running around this almost, and so it looks almost like a fish hook. This is where that space is going to be. So you're kind of forcing everything over here, and then 98 kind of slides over here. One, looking for anything underneath, and two, just trying to get in the vision of Kyler Murray. The other thing with a smaller stature quarterback is, again, trying to get guys in the eyes of the quarterback, get his eyes down. Don't necessarily have to blitz him every single time, but find ways where you're getting somebody in his vision point. So as he's moving, this is where he's going to have to move off the pocket and doesn't throw a really good ball. And again, if you notice, here comes TJ Watt with the chop. He's going to run the fish hook. Okay, Kyler Murray, instead of stepping up and working out over here, he kind of just floats over here because he's looking for this mesh release over here. And instead of being able to really hit that ball and step into that throw, he feels Watt kind of coming and kind of sails the ball over Fitzgerald's hands. So this is a good example of how you can really manipulate something just off of a four-man rush like this, but predicting this, knowing that you're going to get the slide because it is an empty. Now I've got a one-on-one. The pressure is coming from this side. Make him move off of his point. I think that's one of the thing people talk about, getting the quarterback to move off of his point. Good quarterbacks are going to try and find a way to sit in their point, kind of move in the pocket. If they're moving up, they're trying to stay in that point. So here, with all of massive humanity up here, you would assume that he would try and step up in here where there would be some space so he can keep his feet planted and move. Instead, he feels that pressure coming over here, moves over here. There's not a solid edge by 48. So what you end up getting is him moving, but he can't keep his feet in the ground and get that solid throw. It ends up being an incomplete pass because he ends up overthrowing it. Okay, so here's the next one that we're going to look at. Okay, now we've got the same overload, but now we're trying to get the one-on-one matchup again. You've got 28, not really in a mug. Okay, you've got your other inside linebacker in his normal spot. Even though he's shaded to this side, you could maybe call this a zero. You've got big guys over here. Okay, you've got TJ Watt to one side. And so what you're doing is also you're using the space over here with the tight end. Now that guy's really going to be able to have an edge rush right here. And two, you've got a 12 personnel set. So you've got a tight end and a tight end. You're widening these guys out. You still have an overload. So you're going to see the slide protection. Notice that you're going to get the slide going this way. Okay, guard works over here. Okay, everybody's working over here. You're going to get TJ Watt off the edge, and you're going to get the one-on-one over here with the left tackle with him and Dupree. So this is, again, a good example of how that works with the slide. Okay, you don't get the not stunt anymore over here, but you do see how 98's just kind of sugar rushing that. You get him over here trying to occupy, make sure that guard clamps down. Again, sugar rushing. You've got TJ Watt really trying to make him set deep so that he can't step up because you're getting interior pressure. They're sugar rushing to hold the cap right there. If he goes anywhere, it's going to move over here. Now, what I like about this too, and again, going back to that one-on-one, so you've got all that slide over here. That back is going to check release. You've got the release by the tight end. You basically have empty protection. Again, why that? If you know your opponent and you know you can get an overload and get the slide, now they've got the one-on-one with Dupree. What I like about this is that he can essentially do whatever he wants. Okay, because 28's right here for any kind of leak control. So if this were to happen, let's say he steps up and he rushes, now you got 28 right here who's already naturally moving out. What Dupree ends up doing is what I call an up and under. Okay, so he works vertical off of that tackle set, works him high. He sees the quarterback stationary and working up. So what's he do? He comes back underneath, sets up that tackle. Tackle ends up falling down, and now you got a sack. So here's just a simple four-man rush using an overload principle on third down, which kept showing up repeatedly in this game. That was kind of their main piece of scheme that they were trying to do to the Cardinals on third down. So let's watch do that again. Nice job with the up and under. Quarterback sits there as he's trying to escape. He's got nowhere to go. Runs right into a free hitter. Really good stuff from an overload front. Here's another look at it in the red zone. So later in the game, they started doing some drop 8 stuff. So now they're just working a three-man rush. This is still an overload because if you look at it, we still have the overload side here. This is just a single man. So again, they're trying to get Dupree on that left tackle one-on-one. You can see again the slide technique. Okay, Kingsbury loves to check release that running back, and I think that comes partially from that air raid philosophy of trying to get 5 receivers out every time. If you know that, you basically are getting empty protection every time. So again, you can see at the snap of the ball, everybody's sliding this way. Here's your one-on-one. What you're getting in the red zone where drop 8 is really good is because you're just flooding the zone in the drop 8. Okay, you're getting, with the air raid and especially with Kingsbury, you're getting a lot of crossing routes, underneath routes, and what that does is it allows everybody to vision the quarterback and kind of stay in their spot. So you can see here again, you're getting that mug rush. It looks like, okay, we're going to get 3 guys, and all he's going to do is pop out, and he's going to spy that quarterback. Just like I kind of showed at the very first one where we got that natural knot, you can see he's just spying the quarterback. He's kind of reading the quarterback and feeling that running back. And so what you end up getting is you get two guys' eyes with the quarterback, and all they're trying to do is flush him out. And this is a nice job. Once he identifies that he's broken the pocket, so we can clearly tell there is no pocket anymore. Now he's just going to fit off his friend. So you've got outside shoulder, inside shoulder. There's nowhere for Murray to go. He ends up having to step up, and now we get a sack. Guys, this is just a three-man rush. So again, manipulating it with edge rushers. You know, you've got the number one D end in the NFL. You've got another kid who is at least in the top 25. I think PFF has him at 23. So what you're getting is these deep set right here. What you're creating now is a box. All right, he's gonna move around trying to pull guys as much as they can. Watch 64 as he deep sets. He's now going to focus. Okay, he popped out, so where's my next threat? I'm now going to focus over here. Once that happens, now there's really no help. You've got a double team here, okay? He's moving over here in case he gets the up and under by Watt, so you've got a double team here, okay? You've got a single coverage. Once he steps up over here, that gives him a clear lane of sight. It's what you would call a green dog because he's not blitzing off the edge, but he's blitzing once he realizes that he can go. And so you end up getting the sack. So that's some good stuff from the Steelers right there and why they use that drop 8 in the red zone. So again, here's another look later in the game. So after the second half, they start doing a lot more drop 8, really starting to flood those zones and force Kyler Murray to sit back and throw the ball in the pocket. So again, you have another overload front. You've got everybody on one side. You know you're going to get a check release from the running back. Here you get a chip on Watt. So even with the chip, you're still getting a back out. So you're still going to eventually end up getting to empty protection. So you can see that guard he's not even messing with the D end. He's looking right here at this nose, trying to figure out if he's going to come to him and then he's going to clamp. If not, he's just going to keep sinking. Now, he ends up coming to him, and so what you end up getting is these three guys right here, the guard, center, guard combination, all they're going to do is just funnel backwards, okay? And they're going to hang inside. Again, what you've done in this overload is you've created one-on-one matchups with your two best pass rushers, and you're getting a spy in the middle to essentially fit off of where the quarterback goes. Again, at the beginning of this, if you remember, I talked about quarterbacks with a little bit smaller stature. You want to get in their passing lane so they can't see. But here, the Steelers, because of all the crossing routes and the different levels, they're trying to just flood the zone with the drop 8 because they know they can still get there with the three-man rush. So you end up seeing right here, he ends up escaping, and Fitzgerald ends up catching it. But still, another example of kind of how they changed their philosophy. Instead of sending 4 off of the overload, now they're sending 3 off the overload, trying to flood that zone. Fitzgerald just ends up finding that corner doesn't rotate in with him because he's looking with zone eyes and not feeling him kind of curl underneath, and you end up getting that soft spot right there. The other thing here, too, is that linebacker, instead of sinking into the seam and staying, the nickel sitting in here and sitting in the curl, he sees the rush, and now he takes it off. So, kind of stay in coverage, he might have been able to hold that. But nice job by Murray to escape out here and then end up making that throw, getting a first down. They were 4 for 11 in this game, and that was one of their first downs. So here we have another look at it. You've got just a regular, this would just be an under front, but you can still see kind of that overload principle. You've got 3 guys that are going to move over here, okay? You're getting a ton stunt, so you're getting the tackle to kind of ear hold that center and pick that center. Now you're getting the wrap around. He's going to set the edge. He's going to set the edge. So this is some good stuff right here. And what all that the Cardinals had right here was instead of throwing it over here, just throw the quick here and just try and get it. So they basically eliminated the Cardinals passing game on third down. But again, with the twist, this is another thing that you see from the overload a lot, is that you end up getting, either the pin in the B gap and him loop, or the other way around. So I showed you the knot earlier. Here's the ton complement to it, where he's going to work here. Now he's going, and what you're hoping is that guard clamps onto him. He's going to set out wide, and what it does is it creates a funnel right here that you might be able to get your nose in here. But again, if you look, here we have another empty protection. You get the slide coming to the overload side. You get one-on-one matchup on the edge. Even with the overload, if you notice in each one of these, you are getting one-on-one matchups on the edge. And if you can get a fish hook and really get him to step up, now it sets up that up and under that you get from the other side. So push him deep and try and force him to work. Push him deep, and now you can get that up and under. Occupy these 3 guys with 2 guys by making some sort of a loop. And again, it just shows you how simple the overload front can be. Other things that you can add on to this that other teams have shown is that you can mug guys. You can get in a 5-man front, let's say, walk him up. Now you've got man blocking, which helps with some of your other things that you can do. Maybe you send some guys over here, loop him around, and now you've got a 5-man rush. You can do some other things from that overload front. But one thing that showed up consistently throughout the entire game was this overload front. As I've shown, the Cardinals really kind of struggled with it. Eventually, the Pittsburgh Steelers went to more of a drop 8, especially in the red zone, especially on third down, flooded those zones only a few times where the Cardinals able to kind of figure it out. And just one pointer on the Kingsbury offense is that, on third down, you're getting a lot of 5-man protection. So being able to do some things like the overload front makes sense, because if I have 2 great edge rushers like the Steelers do, now I've created one-on-ones for them, and I'm creating havoc, especially for a younger quarterback, especially for a quarterback that I know is mobile. I get him off of his point, get him to be inaccurate. So thanks for joining me on another episode of MQ Chess Match. Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, as I'm always adding new content to it. Follow me on Twitter at @the_coach_A. And of course, always check out MatchQuarters for the latest in defensive content. Thank you.